One true ghost ship that nearly everyone in the West does know is the Flying Dutchman. It deserves its place here, so I'm happy to give it its due. We will delve into the undeservedly lesser-known ghost ships next. As a legend that has been around for centuries, the Dutchman's lore has accumulated, and its true origins are hazy. By some accounts, the Flying Dutchman was a ship caught in a storm off the Cape of Good Hope that sank with all hands and returned as a ghost ship. However, in the most prevalent version of the legend, a proudly stubborn captain named Hendrik van der Decken, or in some accounts Bernard Falk, was having trouble getting around the Cape of Good Hope because of its famous storms. Rather than wait for better weather, he swore he would make it around the Cape if it took till doomsday. The devil allegedly took him at his word, so the ship and the spirits of its captain and crew were cursed to sail for eternity, or until doomsday, whichever came first. While it does seem a little unfair that the crew got stuck because the captain's mouth was writing checks his butt couldn't cash, there you have it. A sighting of the Dutchman is treated as either extremely bad luck, certain doom, or a potential warning of serious storms, depending on the opinion of whoever sees it. Sightings of the Flying Dutchman with skeletal crewmen climbing the rigging were reported through the 19th and into the 20th centuries. It hasn't been seen as often in the 21st. Possibly doomsday already happened, and we were just too preoccupied to notice. The SS Bimo is a ghost ship with a difference. Built in Sweden in 1914 and owned by the Hudson's Bay Company from 1921, it steamed the coast of the Canadian Arctic, ferrying supplies to Inuit hunting camps and picking up furs. That is, until one season when it became trapped in pack ice. The crew, unable to free the Bimo, finally abandoned ship and escaped on foot. You would not be out of line now to point out that this ship is just like any other deserted ship, except we know what happened and why. And you would be right. Yet here's the point where the SS Bimo earns its ghost ship stripes. No sooner had the crew abandoned the ship, the SS Bimo reportedly broke itself free from the ice. I'd like to point out the SS part of the Bimo's name. That's steamship. She wasn't rigged for sail and couldn't have been pushed out by the wind. Did the crew leave the boilers on? Did some unseen hand engage the ship's propulsion? No, the story is that the pack ice had pushed south faster than normal, then melted again, allowing the ship to free itself. Only there was still ice ahead and behind her for miles. If anything, the owners expected her to be crushed when the ice, as she was sure to do, refroze. For whatever reason, that did not happen. After that, the ship was seen many times, drifting along the Arctic coast. Attempts were made to either capture the ship or scuttle it as a navigation hazard. All such attempts failed, either due to bad weather or other circumstances, which always seemed to favor the ship escaping once again. By this time, folklore began to take over. The Bimo's ghostly silhouette was often seen in the mist, slipping through the water as if under power, albeit silently and slowly. Sailors believed the ship had become a sort of seafaring guardian, guiding other ships safely through the pack ice. Other stories emerged of ghostly encounters with the crew of the Bimo out on the ice, which is strange since the crew survived and were probably not still on the ice. The last recorded sighting of the SS Bimo was in 1969, when a group of Inuit spotted it once more caught in pack ice. It hasn't been seen since, at least not officially. Perhaps it finally sank. Perhaps it's still out there haunting the Arctic. Perhaps it was never really there at all. Hard to tell with ghost ships. This has to be one of the better documented ghost ships of all time. The HMS Idy was a three-masted corvette launched in 1843. As a corvette, she was designed to be a fast ship suited for patrolling coastal waters. After about 20 years in service, she was refitted, first as a stationary training ship, then later as a mobile training ship to give young sailors experience on open water. In late March of 1878, after a trip to the West Indies, the Idy met her end. She was well designed for speed, but was not especially stable. When a sudden snow squall hit her with her portholes open and all sails flying near the Isle of Wight, She capsized and sank with almost all hands. 2 sailors are known to have survived, but that was all. Estimates of the total loss vary from 300 to nearly 370 people. The exact number is hard to determine because she was also said to be carrying various military passengers home at the time, and the record went down with the ship. As it sank at only 11 fathoms, the ship was later raised, but was too damaged to be repaired, and so it was broken up. As it stands, the loss was a great tragedy. It turned into something else when the ghostly sightings started. In addition, strange occurrences were noted on the day the ship went down. Sir John McNeill was said to be having dinner with the Bishop of Ripon, when he suddenly, and for no apparent reason, shouted, "Good heavens, why don't they close the portholes and reef the sails?" Which describes how the crew could have saved the ship and themselves if they had known what was coming. Sightings of the Eurydice as a full-fledged ghost ship started soon after, with many reported sightings off the coast of White. Sailors described seeing a ship fitting the description of the Eurydice that would suddenly vanish almost as soon as they saw it. However, the earliest documented sighting was in 1930, when a Royal Navy submarine captained by Commander F. Lipscomb nearly collided with a vessel resembling the Eurydice, again off the coast of White, and again the ship vanished into thin air. Prince Edward, later the Duke of Edinburgh, was filming a television program about the Eurydice in 1998 when she suddenly appeared. Most of the TV crew saw it, including Prince Edward himself. They were alleged to have captured it on film, though the film was damaged and only a short portion of it was ever shown. Maybe the film exists, maybe not, but the witnesses certainly did. Regardless, it is believed that the HMS Idy sails the waters where it's met its fate to this very day. Another true ghost vessel, but with a very big distinction, the Cuche is a party ship. Believed to haunt the coast of Chile near the island of Chiloe, this vessel is said to be where the spirits of those drowned at sea go to spend eternity. While one would expect any ghost ship, such as those already mentioned, to be somber and even ominous, the Cuche, by contrast, is described as an ethereally beautiful vessel that fills the air around it with the sound of music and merriment. By all accounts, the souls on board the Cuche are having a really good time. According to Chilota mythology, the people native to the archipelago of which Chiloe is the chief island, La Serena Chilota is the daughter of the sea king Milalobo and is responsible for both herding fish and guiding drowned souls to the Cuche. She appears as a lovely young mermaid with long blonde hair. Other children of Milalobo, the Pincoya and the Pecoy, share in this duty, if apparently not in La Serena Chilota's beauty. There are also believed to be wizards on board, known as the Brujos de Chiloe. They are responsible for all the ship's supernatural functions, such as the ability to appear and disappear at will. This makes sense, as the Cuche only shows itself very briefly, likely to take on new passengers. It then either vanishes or simply submerges under the sea, probably leaving anyone who gets even the briefest glimpse of it more than a little envious of the drowned.